See, I want to show you how white people try to relegate us to the position that the white elites had relegated them to.
In the 1760s, a British officer in the Carolinas described crackers as idle stragglers, vagabonds worse than Indians, who were constantly changing their place of abode. The word cracker migrated all the way from Virginia to Florida, along with the roving, migrating rural poor. Now, why the name cracker? What does that really mean? Where does that come from? Well, they were called cracking traders before the Revolution because they were described as noisy braggarts, prone to lying and vulgarity. In English, one could crack a jest. Crude Englishmen cracked wind. Firecrackers gave off a stench and were loud and disrupted. Louse cracker referred to a lice-ridden, slovenly fellow. And another significant connection was the adjective crack-brained, which was the English slang for idle-headed, again reminding us that the poor are always idle. And this is a kind of recurrent obsession for the English and for American colonists.
Have you ever had a job? This is what somebody say. Doesn't know me, but I speak about this on my page, supplying goods and products to myself, to my community. Tissue. Lots of evidence on my page that I operate my own business, but they just jump to that. Black people have to overcome so much and come so very far, but live in the past isn't doing anyone any good. The people who have overcome have dug deep and worked hard. And I responded to this white dude. This is what white people say when they don't want to relinquish any of the gains they have achieved from their violent, oppressive behavior. We have to understand America's wealth was not built in a day. The wealth white people live on is wealth that was built over generations off the backs of black people. And this is why they always want to tell you to get over the past, is because they have inherited wealth. They have inherited white privilege for generations, and they do not want to relinquish what they have inherited. So holding them accountable for their prior behaviors and saying they should be responsible for paying a bill that is overdue to white people is oppression to them, because the objective is to keep us without resources so that they can continue to leech off of us by forcing us to have to work for them, rent out houses from them. I just told you, focus on the grind. This is 100% about the grind. Dishwashing liquid, $10. That's how much they charge at Walmart. 75 ounces. I sell 128 ounces for $10. They sell you 75 ounces for $8.94. Approximately 4% of small business owners are African Americans, even though African Americans make up approximately 13%. In the African American community, we must invest in the success of African American businesses and entrepreneurs. So when I say the grind requires a lot of investment in yourself, reinvestment. So this is what I mean. Meaning most black businesses start off underfunded, set up to fail from inception. Partially funding black-owned businesses is how white-owned banks use the American dream of entrepreneurship to steal wealth from black communities. Most startup businesses are initially secured with home equity as collateral. A bank partially funding a business instantly compromises the viability of the very business the bank has just entrusted its money to. See, if a black entrepreneur requests a loan for $20,000, $13,305 for inventory, $2,600 for shipping, $4,095 for marketing. If approved and financed 40%, that's $8,000. The undercapitalization of black entrepreneurs purposely done to create easily foreseeable disadvantages for blacks. 3 immediately. Box trucks require 4 trips to equal the inventory of 1 semi-truck. 1,400 times 4 equals 5,600, 60% increase in shipping costs. Number 2, 8 to 12 days lost in travel time to acquire inventory. Number 3, the limited purchasing power decreases the wholesale discount another 10%. We must understand that my videos is not about the past as so much it is about us understanding how the past affects the present and the present will affect the future. See, they want to make it as if I'm focusing on the past, but what I'm focusing on is the fact that they have implemented these practices then, and they are continuing to implement similar practices, if not the same practices, to keep black people economically disadvantaged to this day. And this is why white privilege fights so hard against this message. This is why you have so many of these white people with these cognitive disillusions comments on my page. These are the type of people that they are. Stop robbing. This is what he's saying, ignoring the theft that these white people have committed. The stolen land, ignoring the murdering, the kidnapping of people, the raping of women. But they have the audacity to tell you to stop robbing when they burnt down your communities, when they lynched black people, hung them from trees. This is why I'm a separatist.
Native Americans had lived on fertile farmlands stretching across the South for countless generations. However, President Andrew Jackson wanted those lands open for settlement to American farmers. How did Jackson go about doing this? During Andrew Jackson's second term, he pressured Congress to pass a bill that would authorize the purchase of Native American lands and require the 5 civilized tribes to move to lands west of the Mississippi River. The bill, known as the Indian Removal Act, would impact the Cherokee, Choctaw, Creek, Chickasaw, and Seminole nations. Congress established Indian Territory in present-day Oklahoma to provide an area for the resettlement of the tribe. Jackson also insisted that the policy of Indian removal would protect the tribes from encroachment on their lands and potential extermination due to conflicts with American settlers. Choctaw were the first tribes sent to Indian Territory. In Mississippi, the state legislature abolished the tribal government and forced several chiefs to sign a treaty agreeing to give up 7.5 million acres of land. The enforcement of the Treaty of Dancing Rabbit led to a disaster for the Choctaw people as they were forced to march to Indian Territory during the winter. Nearly 1/4 of the tribe died as a result of starvation, cold, or disease. News of the suffering the Choctaw endured led to resistance from the remaining tribes. Federal troops were sent to stop a Creek uprising in 1836, and thousands were forced to Indian Territory in chains.